This is the Cubs POSTCAST, your instant game reaction for the Chicago Cubs. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
It's been a while since we could say this, but the Cubs get the sweep. The brooms are out, and the Cubs sweep the Los Angeles Angels, winning the series finale 4-3. Joe George here with you for the next 15 to 20 minutes, talking all things Cubs baseball, reacting to this game today. They get the sweep. Tucker, Nico, Kelly all come through. Taillon was very solid in this one. Got a little stressful right off the bat. Caden says here in the YouTube chat, my heart, man. Yeah, that was a stressful ending to that game for Daniel Palencia, but he shut the door. And the Cubs are all of a sudden within 5 games of the Milwaukee Brewers in the division. This episode is brought to you by 5 Hour Energy. Enter for a chance to win a dream golf trip for 2 to any golf tournament in the USA. Visit 5hewin.com for full rules and entry. No purchase necessary. Excludes the Masters tournament and ends October 31st, 2025. All right, lots to get through in this game. We'll start there at the back end. So Daniel Palencia, his last outing was a 1-2-3, really good. Before that, he had runners on base, had to get a big double play to get out of it. In his previous save attempt, the one before that, was when he gave up the home run in a tie game in the top of the 9th inning, a game the Cubs eventually lost. So it's been a little shaky for Daniel Palencia. He's getting the job done, but you can tell when he just doesn't have his exact command that it can get a little stressful. So to me, it's nothing, too worrisome at this point, just because he's finding a way to get it done still. He's getting the job done for the Cubs, but it's something to keep an eye on, I think, at this point, just to see how it continues to go for him at this point this season, just to see, can he bounce back, really get into his groove on a consistent basis without making it super stressful. But even then, again, it's stressful, but he got the job done. The Cubs won the game, and that's ultimately what matters the most in this one. Again, I said this right at the start of the show. Feels so good to say the Cubs got a sweep, to win 3 straight series, to sweep the Angels, take care of business the way you're supposed to do, and that's what they did in this series. They got to the Angels early in this one with RBIs. We'll start with Kyle Tucker. Everything we've seen from him so far, as he's really started to turn the corner again, he's been pulling it. Just nice to see on a change up from Kyle Hendricks, opposite field, bloop single, gets the guy in, and he gets his RBI in this game. You get another one from Nico Hoerner. You get a sac fly from Pete Crow-Armstrong and Carson Kelly, who's doing a lot of pop-ups into second base, into that second base shortstop, right past the bag territory in the outfield. He came through as well in this game. So you had limited opportunities, not as many as the Cubs have had in this recent stretch of baseball games, but you had guys on base, and they did come through in the end. The bullpen stuff is where I think that's where it feels good to get the win, but as Caden also says here in the chat, much needed day off tomorrow, definitely. And then you got this series versus the Giants, who, while yes, they're below 500, they just took 2 out of 3 from the Brewers. But another team that's struggled this year, you're going to face guys like Justin Verlander and Logan Webb in this upcoming series, so the offense has got to keep it rolling as well. So it's all real positive signs from the offense. Seiya Suzuki's still not playing at his best. Doesn't really feel like we're seeing signs of him turning the corner at this point. I even feel like we did a couple of series ago where he was putting some good hard contact out there. We're seeing Seiya walk a little bit more, not a ton more, obviously, but we're just not seeing Suzuki elevate to where he needs to go. I think the hope here is that as Kyle Tucker becomes a more dangerous hitter again, that there is a trickle-down effect to what Seiya Suzuki and Pete Crow-Armstrong can get done in this one. And PCA had the sac fly in the game today. Also was going for a bunt single. Feel like that's in this recent stretch that we've seen a lot more of from him since the All-Star break. I know it really hasn't been, but the bunt is out there right now for PCA, that he is trying to get on base in that way, and he's close when he does it. It's just he could have been safe today if it was just a little bit more towards the second baseman, away from the pitcher. He probably would have been safe. So something to keep an eye on, I think, right now going forward is, what do you see from Suzuki? What do you see from PCA? Can those guys really start to get this thing rolling in the right direction? Let's see. James asks, what does Hap have over the Cubs? The guy's a 220 hitter, but plays every day. Why is it impossible to play Casey? I said last night at the end of the show, I really wanted to see Casey in the lineup today. I get why rookies, like Craig Counsell's not going to play him, but there is justification to play him for a couple of reasons. One, rhythm, timing. That's the most important thing. It's not necessarily even just about being better than Ian Happ, which he has been, frankly. And Ian Happ, who's shown some stuff that's been positive for the Cubs, I think, outside of this series. In the last 2 series, he's shown some goods that I think you can feel optimistic about. But I was expecting to see Owen Casey in the lineup today, just because if he's going to be up here, you would think it would make the most logical sense to play him occasionally to get out there and play just to keep the rhythm and timing at this point. But we don't see him. And I think now it's one of those where earlier in the season, there'd be a couple things where, like Ian Happ's honestly a great example of this, where Ian Happ was leading off forever. And it was like, just have to kind of give up hope that Craig Counsell was ever going to change it. He finally did. It took a while, but he finally changed it. Craig Counsell is stubborn in his moves, or his computer is stubborn in the moves that it tells him to make. So for Owen Casey, this is kind of probably one of those last days for me where, like, unless Ian Happ or Say continue to really struggle, I don't think I can even complain that much more about it, because it's not going to change. He's not going to play at this point. That's clearly the decision that the Cubs have made, and they're going to stick to it. So, all right, we'll take our break here. When we get back, we'll talk about Jameson Taillon, what we saw from Kittredge, the rest of the bullpen in this one, plus more of your questions and comments here in the YouTube chat as well. That's all coming up next here on the Locked On Cubs postcast on the Locked On Cubs YouTube channel. Today's show is brought to you by 5 Hour Energy. Time to fuel it up and turn it up with 5 Hour Energy Transfusion. This grape, ginger, and lime-flavored shot brings the iconic taste of a golf course favorite to a non-alcoholic boost, perfect for sinking birdies or making great memories with friends. It's a hole-in-one for your energy game. Whether you're out on the course or just need a little extra push to power you through the day, 5 Hour Energy Transfusion delivers the clubhouse flavor you love without ever leaving the green. Golf is all about good times with good people and good flavors. The grape, ginger, lime flavor of 5 Hour Energy Transfusion gives you the best parts of your clubhouse go-to without leaving the course or chasing down the bev cart. Now you can amp up the fun even more. Just buy, snap, and enter for a chance to win a dream golf trip for 2 to any golf tournament in the USA. Tee up that trip. Visit 5hewin.com for full rules and entry. No purchase necessary. It does exclude the Masters tournament, and entry ends October 31st, 2025. All right, Jameson Taillon, very solid in this one. 5 innings for him today. So good, 2 good starts for him coming off the injured list. That's important, because as much as I talked yesterday, if you missed it, about Cade Horton and him really has earned that spot in the rotation in the playoffs, like, you do think with veterans on this team, there's a chance, just as we're discussing here with Owen Casey, like the Cubs could lean to a veteran presence in a playoff moment. I think that'd be a mistake. But Jameson Taillon, what is he going to look like coming off the injured list? And he's been pretty good. He hasn't been, exceptional or anything like that, but he's just gone out there and done his job. 5 innings pitched, 3 hits, 1 earned run, and 3 strikeouts. Only 62 pitches in this one. Probably a little bit of everything for him coming off the injured list, not wanting to go through the order for a third time. And in theory, you have guys in your bullpen that, like, you trust at this point. The Cubs bullpen has surprised, I think, a lot of us this season, especially with the way it turned out early on. But you added Kittredge, you added Rogers at the deadline. You have Keller, you have Pomerantz, you have Thielbar, you have Palencia. The Cubs have some good options in their rotation, in their bullpen right now to come in for games. Now, Kittredge, probably his second worst appearance as a member of the Cubs. He's been overall pretty good, but 1 inning, 2 hits, 1 earned run, and a strikeout. So he makes it a 1-run game while he's out there. And then Caleb Thielbar, he goes a full inning without giving up an earned run. Same thing with Brad Keller. Brad Keller's the one, to me at this point, that to kind of circle back to the beginning conversation of this, if you're going to see Palencia at some point have, to encourage the Cubs to have a change of heart with him at closer, Keller's the guy that, to me, is standing out the most in terms of someone that if you want to make a change, that's the guy you would turn to. I don't think they will unless Palencia starts to really unravel. And he hasn't done that yet. He's just made it stressful for us. Good point here by MPA here in the chat. Dansby error cost Kittredge and out. Yeah, I mean, that was un-Dansby-like. For sure. Larry says Dansby Swanson deserves the blame for this game being as close as it was. Absolutely. That was, again, un-Dansby like that one. That was not a pretty play. And to be honest with you, with where the Cubs are at today versus where they're at a week and a half ago, I would have felt pretty confident in the moment saying the Cubs would have lost this baseball game after the Swanson error if it wasn't because of the Brewers series and what the Cubs have done since then. Instead, they're 21 games above 500, a season high at this point. Steven says Rogers is closed before. Palencia is still a thrower right now, not a pitcher. I think that's totally fair right now for Palencia. I don't think that's anything that is unfair to put on him because he's throwing gas. He's throwing that second strikeout he had, or the strikeout he had against Moncada was 100 miles an hour. I mean, that he throws so much gas at this point that it really does. It's a weapon that the Cubs have out of the closer position. I think right now this is probably more of a fan perspective than it is what the Cubs would view his role and what he's doing right now. It's just it hasn't been as easy. So look, this is a really positive series for the Cubs. To get the sweep, you win your third straight series. I hopped into the I was curious what the comments looked like in the Brewers postcast chat, and there was a overwhelming. I would bet on the Cubs to win the division right now. So you got Brewers fans in their feels right now. All of a sudden, it's flipped very quickly. So the Cubs have a chance here. Like this season, I did not feel this way after the first game of the Brewers series, but what the Cubs have done since, it's all going in just a direction that I think everyone should feel very excited about. Whether it's Taillon and his performance here, what you're getting from Shota and Boyd and Cade Horton, of course, and then Cal Tucker returning to form has been so necessary. And this is where getting 2 walks, getting the RBI single, just getting on base matters so much. It's all about the next guys. When can Suzuki really get it going? Michael Busch leaves. I think it was 4 guys left on base today because the bottom of the order continues to do it in a very successful rate. Matt Shaw, haven't mentioned him yet. Have to. Multi-hit game, and then probably the play of the day. Every single game, Matt Shaw does something that just leaves me shocked with what he's doing at third base. The one he had today where he reaches up, gets the stab, and still gets the runner. I mean, he is just constantly going out there and putting up gems. He's definitely going to be a Gold Glove winner. And honestly, he might be the Cubs' best infielder already. He might be better as an infielder right now than Dansby Swanson. And nothing against Nico. He might be better than Nico because what he's doing at the hot corner right now is jaw-dropping on a consistent basis. So Matt Shaw has been the story of the Cubs since the All-Star break, but now Kyle Tucker is joining that group for sure and really helping the Cubs getting this thing back in the right direction. Yeah, Bobby says the king is back. Agreed. David says let PCA and say slump get hot in September. PCA showing some signs of life. I think more than Suzuki is. Obviously that home run in the 9th in the first game of the series. He's showing some stuff. It's not fully back to where it was earlier in the season, still chasing at pretty much everything, even in that last at bat that he had in this one. He's going out there and he's got to breathe a little bit. It is probably the nicest way to put it. But it's clear there's a book on PCA, just something that drops down and in, and he's going for it. And we've seen him golf some home runs, this year for sure. So, if he can make contact out of it, it can go far. But PCA still really struggling with not just chasing everything right now for the Cubs. Jeff says, Shaw is the story. Hoerner has been consistently good for years. Absolutely. No disrespect to Nico, but Shaw makes the flashy plays. And Nico does too. But Shaw has just been a revelation, honestly, for the Cubs. Didn't think that. I think this is honestly the most shocking thing that's happened this year with the Cubs in a positive direction. You could have talked yourself into what PCA did earlier this season, even what Cade Horton has been doing this year. There's an argument in your mind that you could think, okay, this kid's going to be awesome. Maybe not as good as he's been, but for Matt Shaw to be as bad as he was, get sent down, come back up, be bad again, and then now come out here and just be playing really good baseball on an everyday basis for the Cubs. I said it yesterday. I get why Willie Castro has to play games. I wish the same thing applied to Owen Casey, but if the only way to get Willie Castro at bats is to play him for Matt Shaw, I disagree. Like, you have to be willing to play him for PCA, Happ, and Suzuki with the way Matt Shaw has been playing. Matt Shaw should not be taken out of the lineup pretty much at any point this season unless he really needs a day off. So keep it rolling at this point for the Cubs. Again, they don't play a team above 500 until like September 19th, I think it is. 7 games at this moment the rest of the year. Big series coming up here versus the Giants, a team that has a lot of talent, but just didn't do anything with it this year. They've been a disaster since they traded for Rafael Devers. Justin Verlander, his stats don't look good. I mean, he's been pitching a little bit better as of late, so that'll be a good matchup to start the series off. And if the Cubs stick to their rotation as is, it's all TBD right now. Not sure why, but if the Cubs stick to rotation, it'll be Boyd, Ray, and Shota coming up in this series. So that will do it for us today. Happy Sunday to all of you. Thank you for watching here on YouTube. Thank you for listening to everyone that listens on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you're listening to us on any podcast platform. We'll be back with you guys on Tuesday after the first game of the Giants series. So thanks for watching again. We'll talk to you guys then. Peace.